Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Wicked Good Show. I'm obviously Dylan. We are joined by Brian, and we are recording on a nice, sunny Sunday morning. A little different recording time for us, which is kind of nice. It's not 10:30 at night. And my buddy Brian, say hi to everyone.
Hey everybody, yeah, it's kind of strange to be recording this early. Hopefully that won't mean we're groggy or anything. I think we waited long enough into the morning to where we've had coffee, where we're all ready to go, and I'm excited to talk about the main topic today.
Yep. So today we'll be discussing El Camino, the something I really wasn't that much looking forward to until recently, and I don't know why I wasn't. I'll get into it in our review. I guess I didn't have high expectations for this, and I don't really know why. There was no reason behind it, but within the past week, I got super excited for El Camino, and I think we texted each other literally a week ago, like, "Hey man, let's just do El Camino next week."
Yeah,
I'm glad we did, because I don't know if I would have watched this right away, and. Buddy, I'm certainly glad that I did.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Netflix for hooking us up with the stay-at-home movie this week.
Yeah. So we'll get into that shortly. Kind of a relaxed episode. There's not really a whole lot of news topics to get into, but we both just watched the Dr. Dolittle trailer that just dropped today.
Just moments before recording.
Interesting. Very interesting. So obviously, Robert Downey Jr. is playing Dr. Dolittle. It is set to come out in January, which is not a good sign at all for anyone. Because January, once you get past the first week of January, where all the Oscar movies that were released limitedly in December are coming out in the first 2 weeks of January. This is a middle of January one, and usually that's a dead zone for movies. We've discussed it before. I think Bad Boy comes out. It might be coming out the same day. I have no idea. January 17th. We watched the trailer. What I said to you right away, I thought this was modern times. So when the trailer showed that they're in early 1900s, completely threw me off. What are your thoughts on the trailer?
Definitely. It's going to be tough. I think Eddie Murphy was kind of at the peak of his goofy children's movie, career at the time when the original Dr. Dolittle movies came out, which actually I don't even think those are original. I think there were really old black and white Dr. Dolittle movies. But yeah, that's for our generation. The Dr. Dolittle we know and love is played by Eddie Murphy. And so, like you said, going into this, I fully expected this to just be a modern times Dr. Dolittle. But no, it looks like they're trying to tell the stories, or at least put them in the same era that the books came out, which is the 1920s, as we just looked up before recording. So it could be interesting, but I think the first word that came to mind when watching this trailer is forgettable. I just feel like this is going to be a forgettable movie.
Yeah, the release date definitely doesn't help. I mean, really the only intriguing part here is Robert Downey Jr., obviously. There's some big names that are voicing the animals. I don't really care to go through them. I think Tom Holland might actually be one of them.
He was, and Rami Malek.
Yeah. So I doubt this would be a movie I go see opening weekend.
Definitely not.
This has high chance to be very bad, especially that release date. This seems like that if this was good, this would be a Christmas release. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This would be a prime Disney Christmas release that would rake in $300-400 million. So I don't know. We're low on topics today. So sure, Dr. Dolittle. We'll see. I'm gonna put a TBD, but I'm pretty much expecting that to be bad.
Right.
Other than that, Gemini Man, big win for all of us who
didn't see
were
it.
let down by Game of Thrones. I'm glad we didn't go see it. Gemini Man apparently terrible.
Yeah.
I remember we talked about before that they were hoping to get Will Smith an Oscar nom, and I think we talked about something about Will Smith. He's only done one certified fresh movie in Rotten Tomatoes, for whatever that's worth. So he's chosen some. Honestly, he's in a lot of movies we love. A lot of I think both of the Bad Boy movies are technically not certified fresh, which is crazy. I obviously love him in that. It's Will Smith. I don't really have to explain myself for Will Smith.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently bad. David Benioff, who was one of the writers on Game of Thrones, also wrote this movie. So that's another win for me. That just shows that he can write original content himself. So that's another big win for us. Can't wait for that Star Wars series to come out. Wonderful. Great. Yeah, so Gemini, we will be skipping Gemini Man. We've actually kind of been working out our schedule that we're going to be doing for the next 2 weeks. We were originally going to do Zombieland and Jojo Rabbit in the same episode. I'm going to make the executive decision now. I think we're going to do Jojo Rabbit next week and then Zombieland the week after.
All right.
Which Zombieland could actually be a little. I think that would be a Halloween drop, or close to a Halloween drop.
Closer, yeah. I think.
Although Nazis are pretty scary.
That's true. That's true. I think what's really an indictment is like this Thursday, Jenny and I were like, oh, should we go see a movie? And I was like, all right, let's look. And really the new release was Gemini Man. I was like, do you have any interest? And she's like, nah. And so we ended up just watching Aquaman on HBO instead.
So the Joker's still crushing at the box office. The Joker crossed 300 million worldwide. It took number 1 at the box office again this weekend. And actually, Gemini Man even lost. I think Gemini Man came in 3rd to the Addams Family movie.
Oh wow,
that also came.
That's bad.
So, yeah. So Gemini Man, that is I think we might have said skip it when we did our yearly our rest of 2019 preview. So that is what that is.
Yeah.
Crazy. We have like no MCU or DC news from this week. None that I believe. So take that for what that is. We actually were almost exactly a month away from The Mandalorian, and we also got a confirmed release date for Rick and Morty, which I believe comes out like 2 or 3 days before The Mandalorian drops, episode 1.
And we got a trailer for that.
Yep. So that's going to be super busy for us. So a lot of exciting things coming up. This next like month, 2 months is going to be. I'm really looking forward to it. As we mentioned, we're going to be doing episode by episode reviews of Rick and Morty. I guess we'll see how that goes. We're for sure going to be doing an episode by episode review of The Mandalorian. Watchmen comes out in like 2 weeks.
Oh my god, so much.
We have to kind of
we need to hire some other Wicked Good everything people to come in to help us out.
I'd say the for sure lock is definitely Mandalorian. We're gonna play it by ear for the other two. I'd say Rick and Morty would probably take precedence over Watchmen because I don't know. We'll see. Mandalorian's our priority because Mandalorian is going to be the bitchin' compared to those two. Watchmen has potential to be very, very good. We'll see. I'm like very on the fence about Watchmen. I don't know what it is. Part of me hopes it's really good, but part of me also I really dislike the Zack Snyder Watchmen movie. So.
Oh, you didn't like that at all?
No,
I gotcha. I like Watchmen, the movie, and I really like David Lindelof. So I'm hopeful.
Well, to me, that's the most intriguing part of the series. Obviously, Lindelof Lost as well as Leftovers. Shout out Brian Maher, his favorite show.
Oh, I love that, dude. Please watch that show. Everyone, please watch that show. It's so good and it's criminally underrated.
Yep, agreed.
Yep,
agreed. So. I would say Watchmen probably at least maybe we'll give the first episode a try. And,
we'll see. Kind of like we did with Krypton.
Yep.
Yeah,
and that didn't go great.
Hey, that got like 2 seasons though. Without us. But
my dad, it's like the ultimate dad show. My dad's a big Superman fan, and he loves it. So that tells me one of two things: it's either good or it's really bad, and he still watches either way. So
he just loves Superman so much that he just watches it for the cause.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, with the big 2 months. I'm actually it's actually crazy to think now that Disney Plus is only a month away because we get the Mandalorian. There's I think that Noel movie drops from Disney Plus comes out to kind of get us in the Christmas spirit with Bill Hader and Anna Kendrick. So I'm excited. That's pretty much our news that we're discussing today is like our Wiki Good Show news, and this is a big 2 months because. Pretty much this is all leading up to we're busy basically until Star Wars, I think, because we're going to be getting into like our end of year recap. Star Wars is December like 18th, I think. Also, when you're listening to this, shout out Brian Wong, if you're listening to this in the morning, rumors are that a new trailer / tickets are going to be going on sale tomorrow during Monday Night Football.
Yeah, so we gotta be ready. We gotta figure out when we're gonna see that movie.
Yep. So if you're listening to this on Monday, October 14th, shout out Brian Wong. I know he will be. Tickets will be rumored to be going on sale tonight, which I think I think every major Star Wars movie that's released recently has had the trailer / tickets go on sale during a Monday Night Football game.
Mm-hmm.
I actually remember going on one of my first dates with my fiance now, and the trailer for Last Jedi dropped. I mean, not Last Jedi, Force Awakens dropped.
Oh, nice.
During our first date out. It was a Monday night. We were just out at a restaurant, and I saw the TV, and I literally I unfortunately had to shush her. I'm like, hold on, I gotta buy these tickets. And I was literally I went and gathered around the TV, and so bless her because she stayed with me. Luckily,
right.
She's willing to bear 2 of my children, so I guess I found a winner because I literally shushed her and walked away from the table during our date so I could see the trailer.
This was the first date.
My tickets. Yes.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
I remember I was sitting on my phone for 20 minutes trying to buy tickets at IMAX, and it kept crashing because this was, for those that don't fully remember, the Star Wars Force Awakens, the tickets went on sale during that. That was the craziest ticket sale drop / opening weekend of a movie I've ever been to. That I at least remember because I remember I went that Thursday night to a theater and there was 4 or 5 different theaters showing the movie between because it wasn't just a midnight drop. There was showings at 7, 8, 9, 10, all that. And I went that Thursday night. The one that I was sitting on my phone to buy tickets to was the IMAX at Jordan's Furniture, and not only was it sold out, there was a line we've been there before. There was a line down the hallway towards the Fuddruckers for anybody that knows the Jordan Furniture in Reading, and I was in the middle back of that, and we had gotten there 2.5 hours before the movie started.
Jesus.
And then I went again that Saturday to that same theater, and it was the same thing. It was down the hall. It was nuts. That was actually the first time I saw a movie 3 times in one weekend. I saw it Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, no, I went to see it the second time. I went to see it the second weekend it was out at Jordan's, and same thing. It was still packed, super long line. And when I went to see it the second day it was out, so it was probably Friday, right? Friday or Saturday, whatever the second day was. People were lining up outside of the regular theater, which never happens at the Gardner Cinema that I used to go to a lot. So yeah, man, it was hype. People were so excited for The Force Awakens.
I kind of wonder because I was actually reading an article before we jumped on here. Somebody was bringing about how we know nothing about what this movie's about, but kind of looking on the previous 3 these Skywalker saga movies, I don't really think we had a good synopsis or understanding of what was going on until we saw the movie.
Right.
I think Last Jedi, that was part of the thing with The Last Jedi. We went in with such high expectations. Part of that issue was that we didn't know what it was about. We were basically making up our own movie and our own hopes.
Shouldn't have done that, I guess. I don't know. We were played.
Probably shouldn't have done that because Rian Johnson had a very different plan. But
it looks like he's back on track, right?
Yeah. Speaking of Rian Johnson, so Knives Out, it has a 99% of Rotten Tomatoes. It's a high 90s. Apparently, it's very, very good. And I will not get my Last Jedi hate in the way of seeing a very good Rian Johnson movie.
Right.
I love Looper, or Jumper. Which one? Looper.
Oh, Looper.
So Knives Out. I'm actually very, very excited for that. They're saying, I feel like we say this once a week, but this is another movie that has Oscar buzz. It's just based on how well it's put together. So very excited for that. That we will sure be reviewing that movie.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm down.
Kind of backtracks to we have such a full schedule at this point. I'm very excited. I hope our 10 to 200 listeners enjoyed what we got coming.
Right, and I think Brick. Another Rian Johnson movie. That's one of my favorite movies ever. So I'm not gonna, like you said, let my dislike of The Last Jedi cloud my judgment of his movies.
Because I can't lie. When I found out that Rian Johnson was directing Last Jedi, I was actually pretty stoked.
Yeah, me too.
I think that was the first movie he had done since Looper. So, and which was I don't know how long. That was at least probably 3 or 4 years in between that, maybe more. So yeah, Knives Out apparently very good. But yeah, back to Star Wars. So. Tomorrow, or whenever you listen to this, October 14th, that's the rumor when the drop's going to be. I think that's a pretty safe bet because recently I think that's when all 3 of the trailers dropped for the previous Star Wars movies. So definitely check that out. I don't know who the game is. I think it's somebody bad. I'm not 100. I think it's Steelers. Or that might be in 2 weeks that it's Steelers Dolphins on Monday night. It's something really bad like that. Yeah.
But speaking of Rian Johnson, He actually directed 3 episodes of Breaking Bad, including Ozymandias,
Sure did.
which is a great episode.
Yeah. So let's get into it before we keep rambling on about life. El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. We'll do a quick spoiler-free review. I guess to get into it right away, I loved it. I am giving it a 94 out of 100.
Ooh, very nice.
I couldn't take my eyes off the screen beginning to end. It is, in my opinion, it's the perfect epilogue to the Breaking Bad series. But it's also the perfect ending for Jesse Pinkman's story. It's like the ending he deserved to have. Because that was like really the only big question we had at the end of Breaking Bad, other than did Walt survive? And I don't think a lot of people really suspect that Walt survived. But there's that people that are hoping to get that with the movie. And I really think the only question after that was, well, like, what does Jesse Pinkman do? Because like, by no means was Jesse Pinkman like safe to just go live his life at this point. Like Jesse, we've talked about before. Jesse Pinkman was the biggest victim of Walter White to me. Like Jesse Pinkman got screwed over more by Walter White than anybody else. And the way the series ended, the series I thought ended perfectly. You said it. You said it yesterday. It's the most perfect series beginning to end. It's like even their worst episodes are better episodes than some of the best episodes on some other good shows, which I highly agree with. Now that Game of Thrones flopped, I have Breaking Bad as my number one dramatic show. But it's basically Breaking Bad's my 1A, and then Always Sunny's my 1B. But then I kind of separate comedy and drama.
Right.
But this was, I could not take my eyes off the screen. You're going to see a lot of characters that you've known from the TV show. Jesse Plemons is fucking. I don't think there's a spoiler he's in it. I think he was credited up front to be in the movie. Jesse Plemons, if Aaron Paul wasn't so good. Sorry, I had a brain fart right there.
No,
Aaron Paul wasn't so unbelievable in this. Jesse Plemons, he is just so good at playing that character.
Jesse Plemons is such a good actor. Underrated.
Todd is he's so good at just being this like creepy yet nice guy. Like Jesse Plemons, the scenes he's in, he just knocks it out of the park. But Aaron Paul, this is Aaron Paul's best acting performance of his career, in my opinion. It's such a different character than. It's such a different tone than what we saw in Breaking Bad for most of the show of getting young Jesse Pinkman. Yeah. We now basically have a tortured and troubled Jesse Pinkman, and he sells it so well because this takes place immediately after Breaking Bad ended. Like it takes place literally seconds after Breaking Bad ended. And I loved it. Everything worked for me. It's tough to discuss everything without getting into spoilers, but I think if you didn't see the show, you're not gonna have a great idea of what's going on. But two, like I just don't think that because this is literally basically like 2 episodes of Breaking Bad. It's the 2 epilogue episodes of Breaking Bad, and I don't think you'll enjoy it if you don't see the show. But if you did like the show or love the show like we did, I don't know how you can't love this because it was like this would be 2 of the best Breaking Bad episodes if it was on the show.
Yeah, I say for me, I got to give this a 9 out of 10. Wonderful finishing to Jesse's story. You can kind of tell Vince Gilligan probably like was frustrated that he wasn't able to completely wrap up Jesse's story. You know, obviously Breaking Bad was the story of Walter White with Jesse as the secondary character, but you know, this is 100% Jesse. We get closure, more than just him bursting through that gate at the end of Breaking Bad, you know, which was very unsure of to where his life was going to go from there. And, you know, it's tense. It's interesting at points. It's like, if you're a fan of Breaking Bad, it's like Breaking Bad porn with some of the actors that come at you like fast. And I think, as like you said, as a fan of Breaking Bad, it's the perfect ending, and Vince Gilligan is just a master, especially when it comes to writing in this world. Like,
he really is.
Better Call Saul, I hear, is one of the best shows on TV right now, though I haven't watched it since the first season. I do intend to catch up on that, and you know, he's just so in his element, and he understands these characters he's created so well to where you can make a movie years later and it feels like, you know, you're picking up exactly where you left off, not only from the story but from like the tone and quality.
I'm now I couldn't agree more. I'm now kind of curious. I want to rewatch the show. And basically, immediately watch this after I finish the finale.
Right.
Like just to have like a seamless transition because it really was. It literally picks off right after he breaks through the gate, and you feel like you. It just immediately pulls you in after 6 years of not seeing the show. It immediately pulled you in. I literally could not look away. I think I sat in like the same position for the 2 hours and 2 minutes or whatever how long this TV movie. I'm just saying it's 2 episodes of Breaking Bad.
Right.
Yeah, because that's literally what it is. But yeah, El Camino. It's also shout out Robert Forster, who played the vacuum salesman both in the TV show and in the movie. I literally saw that he passed away about 5 minutes after I ended the show.
Yeah, same.
So rip, because he was also fantastic in Jackie Brown as well. Another Tarantino joint. Yep. All right, buddy. Yeah. So what did I give it? A 93, 94? I'm going to stick with a 90. I'm going back to a 94.
Okay.
That's what I'm at 94.
All right, 94.
Give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
I am prepared to jump into spoilers.
All right, everybody. We are going to get into spoilers. So if you're checking out now, we thank you so much for listening to the episode. Make sure you tell your friends, family, everyone about Wicked Good Everything, about Wicked Good Show.
Wicked Good Everything too.
Right. But specifically Wicked Good Show. Leave us a comment, a like, and we'll see you guys in the next episode where we review Jojo Rabbit.
Yes. Shout out Brian Wong. Peace.
Later, Brian. And you ready, Dylan?
Yeah. Spoilers. I guess where do we start? Because I thought there's so many just like parts of this movie that was just so well put together. I think one of the main complaints I've seen, I actually should have mentioned this in the non-spoiler part, is that it is sort of slow at times, but I feel like it's a necessary slow burn because the intensity of a lot of scenes. Mainly, I guess let's start with the scene. Probably one of my favorite scenes of the entire movie was when he's in the apartment of Todd, and it's been ransacked by the police. They're looking for evidence, and as we had seen in an earlier flashback, Todd had brought Jesse out of the cage, which I don't think we had seen in the show. We just assumed he was in the cage the whole time, and he had brought Jesse to his apartment to help him put on like the cover to his El Camino, and then Jesse's like, "This is all you need help with," and Todd's like, "Well, let's go into my apartment." He brings him into his apartment, and we see that he killed his cleaning lady, and we find out that it's because she discovered where his money was, and really it's because Todd's a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, he's a psychopath, straight up.
Which once again, Jesse Plemons, he just does it so. Matt Damon's like son.
Yeah,
because that's the other thing too. Jesse, and this has been said a million times before. Jesse Plemons looks and sounds so much like Matt Damon. It's not even funny.
Right.
It's like, especially in this, it's like startling. But Jesse Plemons is great. I don't know if you've seen Fargo on the TV show, but he's in season 2 of Fargo, and he is lights out in that.
Yeah, man. Friday Night Lights. He was good. He's been good in everything I've seen him in. So
he was the bully in Like Mike. Who tried to steal
That's a deep cut.
that is my first exposure to Jesse Plemons, because I remember he might have been in something in between, but I remember he was in Like Mike, which I loved as a kid, and then I remember watching Friday Night Lights. There's probably maybe like a 5 or 6 year gap in between those two. I was like, hey, that's the bully from Like Mike, and I've never forgotten that since.
And he's so different. He's not a bully at all in Friday Night Lights.
Who knew that he would make a star out of Like Mike?
Yeah, or out of Friday Night Lights for that matter.
Between Bow Wow and I think Morse Chestnuts in that movie. Yeah, Friday Night Lights. Ooh, that's a hot take though, because Michael B. Jordan was also in Friday Night Lights. Oh shit,
dude! Yeah, I guess original cast member. Can we put that qualifier?
Taylor Kitsch is pretty big too. I mean, Jesse Plemons might have surpassed him by now, just based on the shit he's been in.
Right.
So I can probably get behind that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good in USS Callister, the Black Mirror episode as well.
Although Kyle Chandler also was pretty good. A lot of people got big after that show.
That's a really good show.
Yeah. The wife, Mrs. Taylor, I forget the actress's name, but she was also in the first season of American Horror Story.
True. God, I'm gonna forget her name, but I apologize if it comes back to me. I'll Connie Britton, maybe.
Connie Britton, yep. Good pull. Also, Jesse Plemons in Friday Night Lights. One of the most ridiculous storylines in any show ever.
Yeah, they really went off the rails at one point. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
Season 2, one of the most outrageous storylines in any show ever. Like,
it's so weird and outrageous that they just drop it.
Just so out of place and just so forced. I'm just like, I remember I was like 13. I was like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, so we get to see. So anyway, Aaron Paul, he's going back to Todd's apartment because he discovered where Todd had money. And the last thing he remembered was that Todd said that, you know, through a little engineering, he had a safer place to put his money. So Aaron Paul breaks in another intense scene with the fucking old guy spraying the flowers. Just the intensity of everything was just throughout the entire movie, from like the get go. Because right away when he's pulling up the street and he sees the cops, which also just makes so much sense because the show ends like right after Walt gets shot. And he's dying on which couldn't have been no less than 5 minutes. Jesse's pulling away, and the cops are getting there as Walt's dying or had just died.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. He pulls over. Anyway, I'm losing track. So we get back to the apartment scene, and he's sitting there pulling the place apart looking for money. He's there all night.
Pretty classic, like Breaking Bad time-lapse transition. Yep. I was like, oh, yeah, this is what I'm here for.
Yes, 100% agreed. And then the next morning, he still can't find anything. And then he eventually starts pulling apart the fridge. I don't remember what the exact thing that triggered him about the fridge. But
I think it was that there was nothing in it, and he thought that was weird.
Yeah, sure. That makes a lot of sense. And he discovers that the money was lined in the door of the fridge. That Todd, it was like Todd's like rainy day fund, basically.
Right.
And eventually he hears cops are coming to the door. He's hiding. And this is a great thing that I actually didn't catch until I thought about it after. So Jesse's hiding. One of the cops finds Jesse. Jesse points the gun at him. He says to call his partner in, and the partner calls for his lieutenant. He says, "Lieutenant, can you come in here?" And it's kind of strange at first because the lieutenant immediately pulls out his gun. Yeah. And you're like, okay, so like something's up. Like Jesse's fucked. And so Jesse gets captured after he surrenders. The guy knows who Jesse Pinkman is. And we discovered that they're not cops, which in hindsight made so much sense when he said lieutenant and the guy immediately pulled out his gun. That's actually another thing about Vince Gilligan. Incredibly smart writing. It's something so simple where I feel like other shows or other writers just wouldn't even bother to like have a small detail like that where he has the guy say lieutenant and you find out in 5 minutes that that's because he wasn't even a cop. And I thought the intensity of that scene was great. Aaron Paul, Jesse, really sells just how desperate he is at that point. And he also basically is like, "Hey, dude, like if you're gonna kill me, but I'm taking a third of my money." And that will obviously come into play later. But that scene was probably my favorite scene from the whole thing because the intensity of it, the way it was shot, it was flawless. I fucking loved that.
And I think too. Because when we're watching this, we don't really understand Jesse's motivations, other than, he's going to need money if he's going to be on the run. But later on, we find out it's because he's going to actually go through with, starting a new life, which he didn't do in the show. He decided not to do that. And it just makes sense. Like, it makes this world feel so connected, Like, even though it's been years, it's like, oh, yeah, no, this obviously, like, he's going to do this. This makes so much sense as to why he's, going here and ransacking this apartment for money now. Yeah.
And I like how they tied into that one of the guys was the guy that helped create the contraption for Jesse in the white supremacist warehouse to help cook. He was one of the guys that helped construct that. Right. And I thought the scene when he's looking at the car and the truck, and he's like, "Oh, I was wondering when you were going to remember me." It was just great. But yeah, I mean, another really intense scene is when he goes to the vacuum cleaner to try to get him the fuck out of there so he can start his new life. And after he's basically holding him hostage for a second, and Jesse because Jesse had to originally tried to do this and he ditched him. He didn't show up for it. So the guy basically said, like, you still owe me for that time as well as this time. And I think Jesse only had like, what was it, like 150,000, like around there. It doesn't really matter.
Like 200 and like, what would it be, 49,100. Yeah, he's so close to the 250,000 he needed. He was 1,800 away.
So he was 1,800 short, and the guy was so legit. I love that scene too, where he calls the cops, and then Jesse's like, "You didn't call the cops," and he goes through like the reasons why, and the cops actually show up. I loved it. I was like, that was such like a Jesse Pinkman moment too at that time. It was perfect. And then so Jesse calls him back. He's like, hey, you're a man in your word. And then we go through the whole routine of Jesse going to his parents' house to get the guns, which then you're wondering why he's getting the guns. And then he goes to the metal yard, whatever you want to call that. And we get an old Mexican standoff, basically.
Yep.
Although it's really more of like a show, or what was it called? Like a showdown. I don't know.
Yeah, showdown.
And this is probably one of the smartest things Jesse Pinkman has ever done.
Right.
He has the two guns. I'm kind of like this is fucking insane. You at this point you really don't know if this Jesse gets. I thought Jesse was honestly just gonna get shot and like mortally wounded, and he's gonna somehow like get money to Brock or something like that. Like I thought that was the direction it was going. I was fully prepared for Jesse Pinkman to die in this.
Right.
I very much thought that was going to happen. And then you saw that he got the two guns, and he's only displaying like the German like Luger or 22 or whatever he has in his waist. And so the guy's drunk. He's high on coke and shit, and he basically challenges him to a standoff. And Jesse, unbeknownst to everybody else, has a gun in his pocket that his hand was in the entire time. And when the guy says draw, Jesse immediately shoots him because the gun was already pointed at him and fucking lights the guy up. Then he kills the other guy. That scene was incredible.
Yeah. That second shootout was so intense because you're like, shit, is Jesse going to get shot now? Like, after all this.
One of the best things about Breaking Bad is that anybody really had the potential to die at any moment. Which was like, other than like Game of Thrones, this was the other show that like you really generally felt like anybody could die at any moment. And this scene, there was just this series of small scenes that were so long in length in the build up, but like the payoff was just I like this. The one thing about the movie, I really like. I didn't think that this was necessary at all before I saw it, but now that we've seen it, I'm like this is everything that I wanted it to be.
Right.
It was unbelievable. And it kind of goes back to like I really wasn't hyped for it because I guess I really wasn't looking for this originally. Like I really didn't think that we needed it. Now that I've seen it, this is absolutely what we needed. This was a perfect epilogue to the Breaking Bad series, a perfect send off to Jesse, and it was just I fucking loved it. I honestly can't wait to watch it again. It was like it was just perfect. It was, and the more I think about it, it's just I get more and more hyped about it. I'm just it sucks because. If you this will not get nominated for any Oscars or anything like that. I generally do not think that. Maybe Aaron Paul can sneak in somewhere for a nomination.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't imagine.
Yeah, is this going to be an Oscar or an Emmy? What would this be?
That's the tough part because it's a Breaking Bad movie. I don't know if they would. How do you categorize this as a TV movie on Netflix? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. But Aaron Paul should, because I thought Aaron Paul was very, very good. But let's obviously, then we obviously get we get a bunch of flashbacks. We see Mike again. We surprisingly never saw Saul, which I thought for sure we were going to see Saul, but I guess Saul was a little more generated towards Walter. But we got to mention a Saul too. I forgot which guy mentioned it, but he's like, oh, like your lawyer isn't coming to save you now. I don't remember if it was the guy that he ends up shooting, but so we obviously we get a scene with Walter White, which I both suspected was going to happen, but at the same time when it happened I was shocked. But I also it's them at a diner at a hotel, and it's them in their younger days. So I ended up piecing together the time this was season 2. And this was actually the episode. This is like right before in the episode where they go to the desert to cook, and Jesse leaves the keys in the ignition, and the car dies and they're basically stranded. So this takes place like right before all that happens, which you could tell it was in the younger days, but I didn't know until I looked it up online that that's when it was. Yeah. But this is Walter White before he's Heisenberg. So he's still like probably genuinely somewhat cares about Jesse, and he's talking about he needs to go to college, and then they're mentioning how Walter's still pretty sick at this point. Yep. He's having the coughing fits, and so Jesse's like, we're gonna get your family the money. They're talking about how they can sell the $1 million in crack. Yeah. And then it flashes meth, and then it flashes back to Jesse getting in. He's in the U-Haul, I think. And he brings him up to Alaska, which falls back to when his first conversation with Mike on the banks of the river, which was also where Mike died. Yeah,
that was like probably right before Mike dies.
Yeah. That would have been like very similar to like them at the diner. It probably would have been like right before that episode.
Yeah.
It was another great scene too because I don't think we ever saw them like kind of like confirming that they were both gonna like turn on Walt and like basically get out.
Right.
The scene with Walter White was fine. The big thing about this movie too, this movie didn't try to make any splashes, other than the two great shootout scenes, and then the scene in the apartment. This is like it's not action packed at all. This is like a character driven drama. Even when it opens with Badger and Skinny Pete. Skinny Pete, man, it just showed like how he's like, why are you doing this for me? He's like, you're my hero, and it's just
that's a real friend right there.
Yeah, they're just, you can tell those are the real friends to Jesse. I mean, that was probably one of the more emotional parts of the movie. And they're literally basically like Badger has to go drive down to Mexico and then fucking basically hitchhike back 3.5 hours to get back up to where he was. And Skinny Pete. So now the trailer we saw for this with Skinny Pete in the interrogation room, that makes sense.
Right.
We don't see it in the movie, but it makes sense in hindsight because he basically takes the El Camino, which they found out was LoJack, which another intense scene.
Yeah.
When they get the junkyard guy to come. And he has like the tracker thing on there, and he discovers like immediately, like right when he's about to shut it off, that there's LoJack and it was just turned on. That was like that kind of like just continued the intensity. It was just so like you said, Vince Gilligan.
Yeah, he's in complete control. He's a master.
I either need to start watching Better Call Saul, or I need to hear Vince Gilligan needs to do something new too. Right. Because also shout out X-Files. I have not seen X-Files beginning then, but Vince Gilligan X-Files very good from the episodes I've seen.
Right. Also, can you buy movie theater seats like that for your house, like Skinny Pete and Badger sitting in? I mean, I want to buy one of those.
You for sure can. Oh, you for sure can. I've definitely seen like things on websites that are like their AMC recliners, like the cup holders and all that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's sorry, tangent, but I just remember thinking like, oh wow, I want that.
No, I mean that's pretty much it. That's El Camino. Jesse gets away.
We have a great last scene with him in oh my god, I'm gonna call her Jessica Jones. Shit, what was her name in the show?
Oh, Jane. Sorry,
Jane,
I'm like
yes.
I was reading something else about El Camino. Yeah, so we get a final scene with Jane about basically them talking about that they wanted to run away together. He was talking to Jane earlier in the scene that he had with Walter White when they were in the hotel room. So
right on
Jane,
the phone. Yeah.
Jane was still alive. Them talking about that they wanted to run away together. And, they should be able to make their own fate. And it all tied into what Jesse was doing then. He was trying to live his life. He's trying to start a new life. And we have Mike explain that he's going to Alaska. That's where he goes. We get this scene earlier with Walter basically saying, you should go back to school. You should do business. You're good at business. Yeah. And then we get the scene with Jane explaining, they wanted to run away together. Jane was probably like his true love. And he also sent the letter to Brock. I don't remember. I don't think we saw what the letter said.
No, we don't know what it says.
He sent the letter to Brock too. Yeah, it was a great ending. It was emotional. I was gripped beginning to end. It was just I'm blown away. I'm actually pretty surprised with a lot of the mixed reviews it's getting in the Breaking Bad community, which is very
really?
surprising.
I haven't looked at all. I didn't want to have it influenced at all. I want to come in here just with my thoughts. I didn't realize that people weren't into it as much.
Yeah, it's very mixed. I mean, I see some people loving it as much as we do, and I see some people saying, it's too slow. But I mean, I guess you always get that in the end.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, El Camino. I can't wait to watch it again. It was the ending. It was the epilogue to Breaking Bad. It was the ending for Jesse Pinkman that we needed. I think this is officially the end for all these characters.
Right.
I don't think we'll see. We might. I guess maybe we could see him Better Call Saul. I don't know where that's.
I think Mike is a main character.
He's a main character.
Call Saul, yeah.
Jesse and Walter have for sure not been in Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I would have heard about that for sure.
No, and the biggest thing, I now just want to go rewatch Breaking Bad. Like you said, it was shot and felt like a Breaking Bad episode.
Yeah, it's really funny. People are like, "This is too slow," because I was like, I could watch 10 more hours of this.
100%. Like I said, this was like an episode form in the show. This is 2 of the better episodes.
Right.
Like it's obviously all based around Jesse, but this is 2 of the better episodes. It's very in a otherwise flawless TV show.
Right. So if for some reason you've watched Breaking Bad, you haven't watched the movie, but you've listened to this, go watch it for yourself. It's worth it.
Yes. But yeah, that's all I got. I loved it. I want to go watch it right now.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I'll definitely watch it again this week. Dylan, where can they find you online?
DJ Clubberlang with 2 B's on Twitter, as well as Letterboxd or Letterboxd. I still don't know.
I think it's Letterboxd. Yeah.
Which is where I'm basically doing all my reviews of movies and stuff now. I'm up to like 10 followers.
Hell yeah. Go check them out.
Yes. Shout out to Moore for getting us back into it.
Yeah.
You know, I had an account earlier and I was like, this is dumb. And then I'm now obsessed with it.
I gotta start getting into it because I made an account and I haven't done anything with it.
I've now rated and reviewed 300 and some movies.
Holy hell. All right,
Yep.
so there's a lot of content Dylan's working on out there. So go check it out. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at @theFakeBMR. That's BMARR. You can, of course, follow the main channel at youtube.com/WeGetEverything on Twitter, at WGEverything on Instagram, at WeGetEverything on Twitch, at twitch.tv/WeGetEverything. Please, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, subscribe so we can get that custom URL. We want it to be Wicked Good Podcasts. And leave us a rating on iTunes, leave us a comment and a thumbs up here on YouTube. Check out our other podcasts. We have Better Radio, where we interviewed a very interesting comedian, maybe my favorite interview ever. Her name is Robin, and she has terminal cancer. And we did an interview with her at the time of recording last night, and it's super fun. It's incredibly crass, because you know what? When you're dying of terminal cancer, you don't give a fuck. You'll say whatever the fuck you want, and it's really fun. And then we have, if you're not into crass humor, we have the Sunnydale Review, which has just put out its 2nd episode, and that is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer podcast. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening.
Brian's passion project, that Sunnydale Review.
Yeah, for real. It's been a long time coming, and I spent my entire weekend, Jenny's with her family, I spent my entire weekend, other than when I recorded that podcast, just binging episodes to be prepared for the next recording session.
All right, everyone. See ya.
Later.